Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden stories within corporate filings. And today we've got a real gem involving a potential takeover and some juicy preliminary numbers. Before we dive in, if you dig getting the inside scoop on company financials without all the jargon, hit that subscribe button. We also have a fantastic Discord community where we break down these reports further. So make sure you join the conversation linked in the description. So what we're looking at today is an 8K filing from Hillenbrand Incorporated. Now this isn't just any filing, it is a snapshot of what they're expecting for the last quarter of 2025, and it is being released as part of a big deal. Lone Star Funds is looking to acquire Hillenbrand. Think of it like a pre-game report before a major business merger, giving investors a peek at the current health of the company. They're also telling us that the final results might change because they're still doing their final checks, kind of like a chef tasting a dish before serving it to the critics. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, the numbers. Hillenbrand is giving us a peek at their estimated results for the 3 months ending the 31st of December 2025. They're being cautious here, giving us ranges instead of exact figures, which is smart because the final numbers could be quite different. This is important because it affects how much Lone Star Funds is willing to pay for the company. Looking at their net revenue, they're expecting it to be somewhere between $540 million and $560 million. Now compare that to the same period in 2024, where they pulled in $706.9 million. That is a pretty significant drop, potentially in the range of 20 to 24%. That is like losing one in every 5 sales. They also mention excluding Malacron's net revenue, a part of the business they've sold off. So after removing Malacron, their revenue in 2024 was $596.1 million, making the expected 2025 revenue a drop of about 9 to 10% from that adjusted number. This suggests the core business is facing some headwinds. Now, let's talk about EBITDA, which is a way to measure a company's operating performance before considering things like interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. For the last quarter of 2025, they're expecting their consolidated EBITDA to be between $36.5 million and $46.5 million in 2024. This figure was a much healthier $78.3 million. That is a huge decrease, potentially a drop of almost 50%. This is a really big red flag suggesting that the company's core operations are much less profitable than they were the previous year. They also present something called Consolidated Adjusted EBITDA, which tries to smooth out certain one-time costs. For the fourth quarter of 2025, they're estimating this to be between $57.1 million and $67.1 million. This is still a notable decrease from the $97.1 million they reported in the same period of 2024. Even with these adjustments, the operational profitability seems to be taking a hit. They're excluding Malacron here too, and the adjusted EBITDA excluding Malacron for 2024 was $87.3 million. So even then, the 2025 estimates represent a significant decline. It is worth noting some of the costs they're adjusting for. They're seeing significant costs related to business acquisition, divestiture, and integration, with a range of $7.8 million expected for the fourth quarter of 2025. They also have restructuring and restructuring related charges and a loss on divestiture. These numbers point to a company undergoing significant changes, likely related to the upcoming acquisition and past transactions. Now, the company is also providing a very long list of what they call forward-looking statements. This is essentially a legal disclaimer to warn investors that their predictions might not come true. They use words like expect, plan, and anticipate, but they're quick to remind us that actual results could be very different. This is standard practice, especially when a big deal like an acquisition is on the table. It is their way of saying, we think this is what will happen, but please don't sue us if it doesn't. They list out a whole lot of risks from the acquisition not going through to global economic conditions, cyber attacks, and even labor shortages. It is a pretty comprehensive list of things that could go wrong. This includes the risk that the merger with Lone Star Funds might not happen, or that they can't get the necessary approvals or financing. They also mention the impact of past acquisitions and the sale of the Malacron business. It paints a picture of a company navigating a complex and uncertain environment. So, what is the story here? Hillenbrand is in the middle of a significant transition with Lone Star Funds looking to acquire them. The preliminary numbers suggest that their revenue and profitability have taken a noticeable step back compared to the previous year, even after accounting for divested businesses and special costs. This could be due to a variety of factors, including market conditions, integration of past deals, or preparation for the current acquisition. My take on this is that while these are preliminary figures, The significant drop in expected revenue and especially EBITDA for the last quarter of 2025 is cause for concern. It indicates that the business, even its core operations, is facing challenges. The upcoming acquisition by Lone Star Funds might be seen as a solution to these challenges, or perhaps the challenges themselves are influencing the terms of the deal. Investors will be watching closely to see if the final numbers confirm these trends and what the integration with Lone Star ultimately brings. The list of risks is extensive, and it highlights how many external factors can impact a company's performance, especially during periods of major change. Alright, that is our breakdown of Hillenbrand's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think the acquisition by Lone Star will be a positive step? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribing ensures you don't miss our future deep dives. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more real-time discussions and insights. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Corporate Decoder.